Hi YouTube, I'm back with another video on simple DNS for your home lab, and I believe this is better than the other two that I suggested, which was pfSense and Zentyaw. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean here. So I have here a Ubuntu 20.04 server built, and it has nothing on it. And basically, it's 2004. It's a VM. It has 4 gig of RAM, 20 gigabyte disk, and is using a static IP address, something you would build at home on in VMware Player, Proxmox, VirtualBox, ESXi. You choose what you want to use. Basically, you can just create this as a VM. You can probably even do this on the Raspberry Pi. But so build yourself a 2004, give it 4 gig of RAM, 20 gig disk, and the static IP. And then remember to enable SSH because I'm going to paste, well, at least I enabled it because I need to log in with Putty, and I'm going to paste my commands. But basically, I'm going to show you Bind 9 on Webmin on Ubuntu 2004, and it is so much more simpler than the previous example I gave you of a DNS for Home Lab. So here's the server, brand new server. I'm going to whack this after I'm done. So let me just go and make this a bit bigger. Oh, so first, after you build the server, the first thing you're going to want to do is probably just update it. So this is just a command to make sure it's up to date. Update and upgrade. Okay, once that's done, you're going to want to install Webmin dependencies. And I'm going to post these notes into the video description. But you can find how to do this on the internet with Google. How to install Webmin and how to install Bind. Okay, first dependency done. Now I'm going to add the Webmin repository. Much more easier once you have the cheat sheet here. You just copy and paste right in. Whoops, added in a return there. Alright, then once those two dependencies are done, you can install Webmin. This gets the latest version straight from their website. And then you can check that it's running. So it's active. Okay, the next step is a firewall, to opening up the firewall for the Webmin application. But with 2004, I don't think the firewall is on by default. At least I don't have to open anything and it still runs. So I'll leave this as an option in my notes, but I don't do that with 2004. And then once you're done, you can go to the Webmin webpage, which is on port 10,000, and log in, right? So we'll use Microsoft Edge on my test machine here. And it's an HTTPS call. So the IP of this test server is 31. And then you use your the account you used or created when you installed Ubuntu. And this is Webmin. Hopefully some of you have seen this before. This just gives a GUI interface into some of the most common things that you would use or uh, things you might tweak in Linux. All right, so again, that way you don't have to worry about command line. So first thing I'm going to do is refresh the modules. All right. Once the modules are refreshed, and you go to the unused modules, and you select Bind DNS Server here, and you have an install button. Click on that, and it'll look at the packages that you will need to install, and it tells you what they are. And then you can click on again to install it now. And when it's complete, it'll tell you in the bottom here, successfully installed 4 packages. Then I would go back and refresh the modules. If you don't do that, it might not show up where I'm going next. You go to servers, and if you don't see Bind 9, you need to go refresh the modules. So click on Bind 9, and this is a unconfigured Bind instance, right? First thing you want to do is create a slave zone. That's right. First thing you want to do is create a master zone, and this is going to be a forward zone, and I'm just going to use lab.local. You can use home.local or whatever your domain is that you want to support at home in your home lab. You do need an email address, and I'm just going to put some dummy information here. Testdummy at dummy.com. And then everything else you can leave default. But just remember, this is your first one. This is your forward lookup, and then you put in your domain there. So create. And now it's created. So then I'll go back to the zone list, and it shows over here lab.local. Now, before I even go and enter any records, I'm going to create the reverse lookup. So then I'm going to go back down here. Now that you have something in here, create master has been moved over a little bit. So you're going to go create master zone again, but this time you're going to create a reverse lookup zone. And you're going to do 192 or whatever your network is. If you have a 10 network, it could be 10.10 or whatever. But for me, is 192.168. And this machine's on the 5 network, so I'm just going to start with this one first. Obviously, you can put any number of subnets in here. And you don't need the 0, so I just need 192.168.5. No .0, just 192.168.5. That's it. Again, you need to put in an email address, and I'm just going to put testdummy at dummy.com. You can put a valid one here if you wish. And I'm going to create this reverse zone. And remember, you need to select reversed over here. I'm going to create this. So now that we have a reverse zone created for the subnet that I want to do, I am going to go back to here. And sometimes you need to apply the configuration. In this case, I probably don't have to, but I'll do it anyway. I'll click on apply the configuration. Now let's just go put in a record, right? So I have this PC I'm on, and this PC is on 5.23, right? And we'll enter that in our server here. So we're going to create, and this is called lab PC. And I'm already in lab.local, the domain, right? The zone. So I have a lab PC.lab.local, and the address is going to be 192.168.5, and this one is in 23. And then it's going to update the reverse, yes. So that's why I wanted to create the reverse zone first, right? So remember, I created it for the 5. Now, if this was something else, you would create those first and create this record. All right, it's successfully created, and then they let you create more because you probably would be creating a whole bunch at the same time. So now let's take a look at it. You go to lab.local. You have one address that you just created, labpc.lab.local, and here's the address that we added in there. Now let's take a look at the reverse. The reverse is 192.168.5. You go in there, and there's already a record. And it is 192.168.5.23, and this is your lab PC. Now, to check that your DNS is configured correctly, you want to click on Check Bind Config, and it'll tell you if there's any errors in the config file. Okay, we have no errors, so that's good. Some of the common errors I've seen is the DNS server or the name server doesn't have an IP address. So if you're in here, your name server might not be listed or have a correct IP address. So this one, my server is called test DNS. It's actually in a different domain. but it's supporting this zone, right? But again, it didn't have any errors, so I don't have to worry. But that's one of the common errors you'll see is that it doesn't know where that DNS server is, so you might have to actually add a DNS record for that DNS server. So you might have to go into here and add an address and add in the DNS server and give it an IP for it to resolve that server. All right. In this case, we didn't get any errors, so we don't have to do that. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention, someone asked about recursive. I believe Bind, and you have to go research this on your own, but I believe Bind by default does caching and recursive lookup. So the settings for recursive is default. And from my understanding, the default setting is going to be recursive and caching. So it's up to you to go figure that one out. I believe what I've read, but you'll have to read up on your own for that to make sure. And then whenever you're done, you can always apply configuration just to make sure that it's set. So let's go to the PC. So in here, we're gonna go look for that value, right? So we're gonna go NS lookup, and that's the default DNS server that's on now. So to change it, I'm gonna do server 192.168.5.31. So now that we're on that server, then we can say, what is lab PC? Lab PC is 5.23. And you can also check the full name of it, lab.local, and it's .23. Now, also be aware, I did not secure the DNS server, right? This DNS server by default is not secure. You can do an ls on the host zone, right? And it will, well, ls lab.local, and it will show you every address of lab.local. So just be aware of that, right? It's not secured. It will allow lookup of the entire zone. So you'll have to lock that down. But most people have this internally for their own servers. So I don't expect that this will be public, right? If this is public, you have another can of worms to kind of figure out how to make this more secure. I would never put this on the internet unless I read a lot more on DNS and Bind 9 and how to make it secure. But just be aware that you can do that. So you can enumerate every record in the zone. So hopefully this has helped somebody. This is much more easier and much more quicker to create a DNS server for your home lab or even for your home. Like if, for instance, if you have a NAS, I don't know how many of you noticed that if you have a NAS but no DNS refers to your NAS, it could take a while for Windows 10 to find it on the network, resolve it, and then connect for you to authenticate to the NAS. If you have a home DNS server like this and add your NAS in here with an IP address and have all your servers point to it, you'll be able to resolve your NAS much more quickly. But just be aware, if you do use your Bind on Webmin DNS server here as your primary server, remember to configure a forwarder, right? So you're going to want to go to like the Quad 9 DNS servers or to the Google public DNS servers, so that you will forward out to those when your local server doesn't know the answer. It will go forward out to those servers. And remember to be redundant and have extra ones, right? Whoops. And if you have a third one, put in the third one. All right, hopefully this has helped somebody. Take care.